We live in a world with many social differences, from the richest to the poorest. It is something that has no end in sight. To this day, there are still people who live on the streets, some because they have chosen to do so, and others because, no matter how much they wanted to stand out, society did not allow them to do so. Let's be honest, when you see a beggar, the first thing you might think is, "Watch out, he might rob me." And I'm not saying that for me, but that's how the vast majority of people show it, whether it's because of their unpleasant, unkempt, or dirty appearance. Sadly, many of these people do not have a home, and because of this, they end up living on the streets, sleeping on park benches, eating whatever they see in the garbage or whatever people can offer them. Unfortunately, many people dislike these people because of their appearance, but as I said at the beginning, they probably didn't decide to end up that way. But just as there are people who see them with bad eyes, there are also others who, with a simple gesture full of goodness and kindness, can change their lives forever. On one occasion, a woman named Cassie Fisher was in a fast food restaurant having a coffee, when suddenly through the window she noticed a homeless man on the street picking up some coins that had fallen out, which he had given to people passing by. Then she noticed that the man entered the establishment where she was and began to count his coins. At that moment, the woman noticed that the man's face showed disappointment and sadness. She realized that maybe he didn't have enough to buy something to eat. Cassie then decided to do something else. She called him over and invited him over for a sandwich and coffee. The man seemed somewhat distant, but he was hungry and accepted her offer. Afterwards, when the food was delivered, Cassie turned to him again and asked him a question. "Would you like to sit with me? I'm alone at this table." The man, surprised by the gesture, looked at Cassie in confusion and then approached a little apprehensive. After a short conversation, the young woman discovered that his name was Chris, and he told her how he had ended up begging on the streets. He grew up in a very troubled family. His father beat both him and his mother, which forced him to run away from home. He said he could not stand so much pain in his body. As a child, he was unfortunately abused by other people in the streets. Over the years, he wanted to overcome and get out of all that hell, but everyone closed the door on him. He looked for work, but nothing. So much suffering and loneliness led him to drugs. He also told her that people were always rude to him most of the time, that nobody used to approach him because of his looks, and that many people were afraid of him. He no longer remembers how many times he was beaten just because he was a beggar. The fact that he lived on the street made them think he was just another delinquent. He confessed that he would like to have a job, but no one would accept him. He recently said that his best friend died of old age, his dog, the only thing that made him feel good, the only thing that gave him unconditional companionship. He was very sad about everything that had happened to him. The woman listened and held back her tears so he wouldn't think she was somehow sorry for him. Chris opened his heart and told her that he also wanted to be the son his mother wished for, but unfortunately, he couldn't. Even though he had escaped, he learned that she had passed away from an illness, and there was no more chance to prove anything to her. For over an hour they talked, until Cassie had to say goodbye, as her next class was about to start. Before leaving, Chris asked her to wait a moment longer. He went to the counter of the restaurant and asked for a piece of paper with a pen and immediately wrote something down. He took the girl's hands, placed it there, and then closed his fist. He apologized for his handwriting and thanked her for the breakfast and the conversation they had, assuring her that he would never forget that gesture. When Cassie left, she opened the paper Chris had given her and realized that she had done much more than give him something to eat, for on the paper it said, "I wanted to kill myself today, but thanks to you, I don't want to anymore. Thank you, beautiful person." The woman could not stand crying at that moment. This story shows us that we should never judge a book by its cover, As I have always said in this channel, every person has a story that has marked them forever. Not everyone is as well as you are, sitting on some couch, in bed, or eating something tasty. Not everyone is that way, and you know the simplest gesture can change not only the day, but someone's life forever. If you ever come across someone like Chris, remember not to judge, because you have no idea what that person has gone through to end up in this terrible condition. If it is in your power to help, don't think about it and do it. We will never know what may happen tomorrow, and one thing is certain, we are all worth the same, and we all need each other. Many of us should be like Cassie, don't you think? If we all did an act like that with a person who really deserves it, many lives would take a radical change like Chris's. This young woman shared her story on Facebook and hopes that more people will take this as an example. I hope you really liked this video. If so, feel free to give us a thumbs up, comment, and share.